Hey there, YouTube. It's me, Broken Terrain, and I've got a mini from Hero Forge to show off for you today. It's my player character, Sindora. I can't wait to tell you all about her. So come along with me, and I'll show you everything right after the drop. This is my first Hero Forge mini. I tend to be a cheapskate and I look for very, very cheap minis, but this was special. The character is special to me. This opportunity to play her is special to me, and so I didn't mind pulling the trigger. I look over the figure and I love it. There's a couple spots here in the cape, but when I made the figure on their website, I saw those pieces there, and I could have moved the cape and didn't. Those are my fault. There are some misprints up at the shoulder, on one side of her head with the hair, and I take some time to use my X-Acto and clean it up. It doesn't take too long, and the material is fairly easy to manipulate. The bases are 1 inch, and so you know I love my fender washers. She gets super glued to a fender washer, and then my painting handle has a couple of magnets, and that works really well. So much better than poster tack. I really have a hard time with poster tack. So this was my workaround. I was super excited about this figure, this character, and this campaign. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I have been making my own game, and up until this point, I have only run it. I have never been able to play as a character within my own game. And this character here, this character changes everything for me. My friend has volunteered to run a game with my system, and I get to be a player in it, and I am so excited. So excited. So that's why I did it. I went to Hero Forge and I got the figure made. I looked through my Boxo Shame, all my my cheap minis, and none of them were quite her. None of them were quite the princess. And so yeah, I made one, and it was a blast. If you haven't gone to heroforge.com, no, they're not paying me. They have no idea. In fact, the first mini they sent was awful. They didn't. I ordered it so that I could meet the deadline of first session. I had planned on showing up, having my mini all painted. I'm super excited and ready to go, and instead they send this little chunk of abomination in a box. It had the book and the staff, but that was it. Everything else was different, and massive amounts of it had the printer texture. I don't know what happened, but to their credit, an email with a couple of pictures, and they quickly got the correct mini shipped out to me. Unfortunately, that means I missed first session, and so she'll have to make her table debut in next session. So anyway, I was telling you, go to heroforge.com and just play around with their little character generator tool. It is so much fun. You can manipulate your character in real time, adding hairstyles and changing it from a dwarf to an elf to a cat lady or a wolf man. I mean, it's crazy the options they have. The armor, you can it's awesome. It is really cool. I highly recommend it. Even if you don't pull the trigger on getting the actual figure, it's a really cool tool to help build your character in your head. And then you can always save that character to your portfolio on the website, take a screenshot, use it in your character sheets. So even if you don't use the service, it's an incredibly robust tool and website. And man, don't be afraid to check it out. So cool. I'm really excited. I can't wait for everyone to see the figure. And I'm really pumped that my friend has decided to run the game with my system, and I'm beyond excited to play in it. And more about the game later. I've got a version of it done that I'm really proud of, and when I open up a subscription, that will be one of the offers. So I've been working for years on it, super excited to show everybody. Heck yes. All right, with that all being said, I am not a master mini painter. I'm a high beginner to a low moderate in skill level, but I'm learning. I absolutely love the hobby, and I'm getting better and better with every mini I paint. I think the key is to just have fun and just keep striving to do better and better minis, and so that's what I'm going to do. But I don't want to tell you how to paint minis because I'm still figuring it out myself. So instead, man, I'm having a hard time transitioning this. Instead, I'm going to do a bit where I talk to you about Sindora here, give her full name, title, and just tell you about her origin story. I hope you like it. Here we go. This is the origin of Princess Sindora Damas, first of her name, the arcane fist of the king, and next in line to the throne of Valderrain. On a stormy night, almost 20 years ago, a baby girl was born to the king and queen of Valderrain. The king himself was a powerful swordsman, feared and respected across the land. However, young Sindora was born with different gifts, exhibiting magic and powers unlike her father. They started her very young, being taught by the world's best tutors and scholars from all over the world, and her gifts and powers continued to grow at an amazing rate. Her education with these strict magical professors and her devotion to magic caused her to grow cold and analytical. Her mother took notice and took up the subject with her father, the king. They both noticed a change in young Sindora, and her mother took drastic measures. A family picnic. The family, father, mother, and Sindora, traveled the nearby countryside in disguise. With the burdens of their station removed for a time, the family of royals reconnected with each other and the peoples of their land. Other children, not knowing she was a princess, were unafraid to approach her. They made friends with Sindora and invited her to play with them. Sindora began to thaw and regain her once lost innocence. Years of cold exterior vanished in weeks. The young woman felt like herself again, and for the first time in a decade, she relaxed and dropped her guard. This is when their political enemies struck. The assassins were quick, and the queen was slain in her bed while she lay next to her husband, the king. The king, a powerful swordsman, was able to defend himself, but his beloved queen died in his arms. Sindora was beside herself with guilt. If she had warded their tent, their bedroom, as she had done every day for over 10 years, this would not have happened. This was her fault, she decided. She had killed her mother. Sindora vowed this would never happen again. Never would anyone she cared about be taken away from her. Her father redoubled his focus on preparing young Sindora for the throne, and she grew ever more cold, convinced that she must get stronger. Only strength in magic can bring safety to her family and kingdom. She redoubled her efforts. She strains to learn more and more, and she's even begun turning towards the dark magics. The princess took over the arcane protectors, the kingdom's magical defense. She began to use them to scour the world of her family's enemies, and she's renamed them the Arcane Hand. They've become a fearsome magical force in the area. Those that ordered the assassination of her mother were found, and they were dispatched in brutal ways, with magic stripping them bare to the soul. But this did not appease Sindora. She struggles within herself. She desperately wants to be a good ruler and a good person, but she's so full of rage and mistrust over her mother's death. As her father continues teaching her how to rule, she continues to lose her compassion and her humanity. Something must change, or Sindora will be lost to her grief for all time. What'd you think of Princess Sindora? Pretty cool, I hope? And here are those figures I talked about. After I finished her, I was so excited. Check out this dwarf. I put a scar over his eye. Oh, I'm in love. I love him. Look at him. Heck yeah. Along with the dwarf here, I painted this half demon who thinks he's a paladin. White enameled armor with gold trim. And Viking blue ribbons and robe. Love it. And finally, just your standard elf ranger in greens and browns with a green trimmed cape. Love it. So, until next time, like each other, love each other, and craft on.